guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are doing another tier list, as you can see, and this one's going to be on Lionel Messi games. We have 10 of Messi's best and most iconic games of all time, and today, we're going to put them into a tier list. This video was not my idea, however. I got to give credit where it's due because I cannot lay my head on that pillow at night knowing I robbed somebody else's concept or like something that I couldn't sleep well knowing I didn't give the person credit. So Barca Ray, one of my subscribers, he suggested this in the comment section of a previous video that I made. He picked all 10 games. He put them in the comments. He also gave me the idea for the video. So shout out to you, Barca Ray. Thank you so much, man, for the idea. And thank you for engaging with the content. It means a lot to me. If you guys have any other players you guys want me to do this with, I mean, leave it in the comment section. Pick the player, pick some games that you guys want me to rank, and I'll for sure get to that. But anyway, today we're going to do Messi. So we got 3 tiers on the side, S, A, and B. I'm not sure we're going to use all 3 tiers because all these games are fucking crazy good. I mean, all of them might go into S, but at the end of the day, it's not about the tier itself. It's about talking. You know, it's not the journey. It's the destination. It's about talking about the game and just remembering these insane performances. The criteria for this video is going to be pretty simple. We're going to look at stats, what numbers did Messi put up, how many goals, how many assists. We're going to look at the context of the performance in and of itself, which, you know, all these games are pretty high stakes. It's UCL finals, it's World Cup finals, it's Super Cups, it's El Clasico, so all these games are pretty high stakes. And we're just going to look at Messi as a whole and how he played this game. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. I hope you guys enjoy this. And yeah, let's start ranking some Messi games. I cannot wait. Starting off, the first game we got right here is the 2015 UCL semifinal against Bayern Munich. Obviously, the first leg at the Camp Nou. This game to me is going to go into S tier pretty easily. Messi on this day had 2 goals, he had 1 assist. Barca scored 3 goals. Messi obviously contributed to every single one of them. The stakes are as high as they get. UCL semifinal, not quite a final, but a semifinal is pretty high stakes at home. And Messi scored 2 beautiful goals, not just any ordinary goals, 2 beautiful goals. The first one was obviously tied 0-0 in the 77th minute. Messi puts the ball outside of the box. He puts the ball low driven past Neuer at the near post. A beautiful goal. The second goal, one of the most iconic and famous goals in the history of football, putting Jerome Boateng, who was at the time one of the 5 best defenders in the world, in my opinion, and a fucking blender. Makes him into an eternal meme. To this day, that guy gets memed for that. And obviously, he chips the ball over Manuel Neuer. And then the third one was a goal by Neymar, where Messi plays that pass to Neymar, a ball in behind beautifully in the 90th minute. And then Neymar finishes the ball stupendously. You guys see that word I just used? Stupendously over under Manuel Neuer's legs. And also the context for me, I mean, 77th minute, tied 0-0, UCL semifinal at home. Barca are looking to go to the Allianz Arena, basically needing to win. I mean, if you tie, obviously, you got to win the away leg. And Messi was like, just not under my watch. I'm going to carry us out of this. And he scored 2 goals in the matter of what? 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure. The last 15 minutes of that game, he was utterly fucking unplayable. The previous 77, I mean, he didn't ghost for the first 77 minutes of that game. He was still Barca's most active and productive player. I mean, the guy was everywhere on the pitch. He just couldn't really finish his chances or find his groove just yet. But once he found his groove, you better believe he fucking delivered. One of the most clutch performances of Messi's career. Hence why I'm putting it in S tier, because this guy was ridiculous on that day. Next, we got the World Cup final in 2022 that obviously happened, I'm pretty sure, a year ago today, or actually no, a year ago yesterday, which is fucking crazy how time flies by so quick. But anyway, this game's pretty clearly going to go into S tier as well. Obviously, the stakes are as high as they come. A World Cup final, the highest stakes in the history of any sport. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And Messi obviously delivered with 2 goals, obviously the penalty, and then that second goal in the 113th minute in extra time, which we thought, I mean, everybody that was rooting for Argentina, which I know I was hoping that was going to be the winner, but obviously it wasn't. But still, Messi was ridiculously good on this game. He also had that pass to Julian Alvarez in the Di Maria goal, in that counterattack, that legendary counterattack. He's the one that flicks the ball to Julian, which just opens up the whole defense, and then Julian obviously plays the pass to McAllister, and then McAllister passes the ball to Di Maria, and we know the rest of the story. To me, you know what's crazy? This is arguably Messi's worst knockout game in the World Cup, which should tell you how fucking good he was in every single knockout game, how good he was in the whole World Cup. That a game in a final where he scored 2 goals was arguably, to me, his worst game. I think he was better against Australia. Now, granted, the competition wasn't as good, but the performance in and of itself, to me, was better against Australia. Against the Netherlands, I think he was better. And also against Croatia, I thought he was better. In this game, the only thing you could, nitpick from Messi is that he did lose the ball. That led to Mbappe's second goal. Kingsley Coman strips the ball from Messi, and then obviously Rabiot passes the ball to Mbappe, and we know the rest of that. But still, he converted his penalty in the shootout beautifully. He stutters and then put it past Lloris. And yeah, to me, when you score 2 goals in a World Cup final, that's 2 more goals than Ronaldo has World Cup knockout stage goals in general. Messi scored 2 in a final. Ronaldo has yet to score in a knockout stage or assist in a knockout stage. Isn't that fucking wild, guys? And we wonder who the clutcher player is. But anyway, yeah, this Messi game was insane. Again, the stakes were as high as they get, and he delivered. So to me, it's gonna go into S tier. Next, we got the 2019 game against Spurs in the UCL group stages. The first game they played at Wembley Stadium, of course. This game's gonna go into A tier for me. The only reason why it's going into A tier is because I got a nitpick here, because if not, I would put every single game here in S tier. So I really got to nitpick and say that this game happened in the group stage of the UCL, and obviously does not compare to the top two, which are UCL semifinal and World Cup final, obviously. In this game, Messi had 2 goals, 2 beautiful goals, by the way, 2 goals where he started the move and finished the move. I mean, the guy was everywhere on the pitch. He also had the pass to Jordi Alba, which led to Coutinho's first goal, that trademark Messi move where he picks up the ball right above the halfway line, cuts it on his left foot and just plays that rainbow ball beautifully. And he was just toying with Davinson Sanchez and Vertonghen or Alderweireld. I'm pretty sure, I don't know which one it was, but it was for sure Davinson Sanchez and one of the 2 Belgium center backs. And he was just toying with him, picking the ball up at the halfway line, just like taking on 2 or 3 defenders, spraying the ball sideways, spraying the ball forward. I mean, it's peak Messi, bro. Arguably one of his best games that season. Top 5 for me for sure of like performances in 2019. And that should tell you how crazy good it is, because that's peak Messi in my opinion. That's the most complete version of him that I've ever seen. So in this performance, I mean, he was insanely good. Go back and watch it if you haven't. Actually, honestly, go back and watch this Messi game. He was insanely good. But again, I gotta put it in A tier because it was it was a group stage game. It wasn't really a knockout stage game, so I can't put it in the tier with the other 2. But don't get it twisted. It was an insanely good performance by Messi. Next, we have the 2010 UCL quarterfinal against Arsenal. The second leg, obviously, at the Camp Nou. It's going to go into S tier for me. Now, let's put this into context. First leg, Barca against Arsenal in the Emirates. They tied 2-2. It's a 2-2 draw. So you're going back to Camp Nou. Like, obviously, Barca were ahead because the away goal was a thing. But still, you're tied. If Arsenal score a goal, they're right back in it. And Arsenal do that. They score a goal in the first 18 minutes. Lord Bender scores a goal. And then 3 minutes later, Messi equalizes with a beautiful goal himself. It ricochets off a defender's foot. It falls right back into Messi's lap. Messi curls it beautifully into the top left corner, pass Almunia. Then he scores a second goal from that pass from Pedro. He scores a third goal as well where he chips it over Almunia. He scores a fourth goal where Almunia saves it and it falls right back to Messi, and then he puts it past Almunia's legs. I mean, every bounce was falling Messi's way on that day. I mean, he was just on his day. It's arguably peak Messi. 2010 Messi was fucking ridiculous. And if you go back and watch this game, you realize why people were calling this guy the GOAT at 22 years old, however old he was here, because he was just that dominant. I mean, one of the clutchest performances of Messi's career, down 3-2 in the tie, and then he goes on to score 4 goals. That's why when people question how clutch this guy is, it really makes me wonder, do you actually watch this guy play? Do you know how clutch this guy has been throughout his career? But anyway, we're not going to bother with those people because I don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, this game to me is going to be an S tier. When you're that clutch and you score 4 goals in the UCL quarterfinal, I mean, you got to go in S tier. Next, we got the 2011 Super Cup final, the second leg that obviously happened at the Camp Nou against Real Madrid. This game to me is going to go into S tier. I'm sorry, guys. I got to put every single one of these in S tier. Now, some people might not think that a Super Cup is that big of stakes, but to me, considering the context and the fact that it is a trophy and the team you're playing against, to me, it makes it S tier. I mean, the context of this game, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, 2011-2012, arguably the greatest Real Madrid team of all time, one of Barca's best teams of all time, obviously the last season with Pep Guardiola, the peak of Mourinho versus Pep, the peak of Messi versus Ronaldo, in a cup final, basically. And, you know, it was tied 1-1 or 2-2 going into the second leg, so it was all to play for in this leg. And Messi scored 2 goals. He had 1 assist. Both goals were fucking beautiful. The first goal is the one you can see in the picture right there where it's that meme of Ronaldo sliding behind Messi where Piqué backheels the ball and it falls right up to Messi and he chips it past Casillas. The second goal, he scored a winner in the 87th minute, which was a beautiful goal. A pass from Adriano, I'm pretty sure, on the right wing. And then Messi's right there and it's a beautiful finish to the near post of Casillas. And then he had the assist on the first goal to Andres Iniesta where he cuts inside. Very similar to that trademark run, like I said, that Messi makes where he cuts inside on his left foot, just carries the ball, and then he just finds that little crease and passes it to Iniesta on a beautiful pass, and then Iniesta finishes the ball. He chips it over Casillas wonderfully. And then, yeah, for me, I mean, this game, when I consider the stakes, to me, as a Barca fan, the Real Madrid game is the biggest game of the year. Apart from, like, if we play UCL final or UCL semifinal or quarterfinal, any UCL knockout round is obviously a little bit higher stakes, but to me, it's right up there. Like, Real Madrid is the biggest game of the year, whether it's in a friendly or in a cup final, I don't care. And this one's obviously in a cup final, albeit the Super Cup, not the Copa del Rey or the Champions League. But anyway, it's a cup final. It was peak Real Madrid versus Barca, and Messi delivered with a winner and an assist. So yeah, to me, it's going to go into S tier, no question about that. Next, we got the 2011 UCL semifinal, again against Real Madrid. This game happened obviously a couple months before the game we just talked about. This game to me is also going to go into S tier. This is the highest stakes. It doesn't get any, like, the stakes don't get any higher than this. Playing your biggest rival away from home in a UCL semifinal. And Messi delivered, bro. Scored 2 goals. One of those goals, the second one I'm pretty sure it was, is to me the greatest goal in the history of the Champions League. I mean, when he weaves through the whole Real Madrid defense. The first goal, or maybe I'm getting the goals mixed up, but both goals, like the second goal that he scored was obviously that pass from, I'm pretty sure it was Afelai, again on the right wing. Very similar, actually, to the winner he scored in the Super Cup final in 2011. It was very similar, like it was the same style of goal where he crosses the ball in and Messi stretches out his foot, and it's just a wonderful finish. And then, yeah, he scored those 2 goals, gave Barca the lead going into the Camp Nou, which obviously Barca ended up taking advantage of and ended up going to Wembley. But to me, when I look at the stakes, and the performance from Messi on that day, it's got to go into S tier, but there's no debate about that. Moving on, we have the game in 2017 against Real Madrid. Another 3 straight games actually against Real Madrid. I did not order this like that on purpose, by the way. It was just randomized. But anyway, the game against Real Madrid in 2017 that obviously happened in April of that year, the 3-2, which you guys can tell what game it is by the picture with the celebration. It's gonna go into S tier for me again. Bro, any game against Real Madrid to me is gonna go into S tier, whether it's like a cup final or whether it's a meaningless game. So this game, it wasn't really meaningless because now that we look at it in hindsight, we know that Real Madrid ended up winning the league that year. But at the time, this game was basically for all the marbles. If Barca won, they were going to be really close to catching up to Real Madrid, but obviously it didn't end up happening. But still, bro, Messi on this day was like the performance in and of itself would put it in S tier for me because the first goal he scored, he had 2 goals. The first goal he scored was beautiful. He weaves it in and out through the Real Madrid defense and then finishes it beautifully past Keylor Navas. The second goal he scored is obviously one of the most iconic goals of Messi's career, which you guys know what it is by the celebration, obviously, which is the winner with the pass from Jordi Alba, a beautiful finish at the near post. And then throughout the whole game, he was insane. He was toying with Casemiro. He was toying with Marcelo. I mean, the guy had to play with a fucking napkin on his mouth because they were like Marcelo elbowed him, and still with one hand in his mouth, he was still toying with that whole defense. A Real Madrid team that to me is one of the best Real Madrid teams, if not the best Real Madrid team of at least the past 15 years. And Messi just toyed with them fucking like completely toyed with them. First half, second half, this guy was everywhere on the pitch that day. And yeah, to me, it's got to go into S tier. I know, like, when you look at the context, it doesn't really matter because, again, Real Madrid ended up winning the league. But at the time, this game was pretty high stakes, and Messi delivered again. Next, we have the 2011 UCL final against Manchester United in Wembley. S tier for me, and it's going to go in the front of S tier because this to me is the greatest performance, individual performance in the history of the UCL. Messi in 2011, he only scored 1 goal, but if you go back and watch that game, you know how fucking insane he was. Obviously, the goal he scored was that beautiful goal outside the box past Van der Sar, but in the second half of that game, and even in the first half, I mean, every single minute of that game, he was just playing United out of the park. He made Vidic and Ferdinand, who are the greatest tandem of center backs in the history of the Premier League, or at least to some people they are, and to me, even they are. He made them look like JV players. And granted, it was a little bit older for Ferdinand, a little bit older for Vidic, but still, they were still arguably, like, they were very good players at the time. And Messi just tore with them completely. I mean, Nani couldn't do anything with him. Fucking Valencia couldn't do anything with him. Ji-Sung Park couldn't do anything with him. We know that move on, like, the right touchline where Messi, like, stutters a little bit and then just, he just carries the ball.
They can get that small spherical thing to him. Fantastic from Messi again and again. Nani made a challenge. Character is up.
Again, only scored 1 goal, but Barca as a whole was so good on this day. But out of all, like, as good as Barca was on that day, which to me, they had the greatest team performance in the history of a cup final ever, Messi was the star, if you want to say it in a corny way, that shined the brightest on that day. And, you know, Villa scored a beautiful goal, Pedro scored a beautiful goal, the midfield was fucking incredible on that day, Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets played their, they were just insanely good, but Messi was the best player on that day. He just controlled the pace of the game, he controlled the tempo, he progressed the ball forward, he would pass the ball, he was finding runners, he was making runs himself. I mean, it was just insanely good. Insanely good. They could have put 7 center backs on him and he would have toyed with all of them because he was just on his day that day. And if you haven't seen the highlights of this game, go back and watch Messi's highlights because you're only going to see 1 goal, but you're going to be amazed on how productive he was with only scoring 1 goal. It's one of the most productive 1-goal games you'll ever see in your life and one of the most dominant 1-goal games you've ever seen in your life. Usually when you think of dominance in the game, you think of like a hat-trick or 4 goals like we saw with Messi against Arsenal, or 2 goals and an assist or whatever. With 1 goal, no assist, this guy completely dominated the whole game, which is something very few players can do. Next we have the 2015 Copa del Rey final against Atletico Bilbao. This game to me is going to go into S tier. Messi scored 2 goals in this game, and honestly, he could have scored only 1, but that 1 goal is going to put him into S tier for me. That 1 goal alone will put him into S tier because he scored what to me is the greatest goal in the history of football on that day, on that final. And, sorry, I burped. And bro, the stakes don't get much higher. I mean, obviously it's not a UCL final, but it's the second biggest cup final you can play for a club, which is obviously the Copa del Rey final in Spanish football, obviously. And Messi just, like, it was just insanely good. We all know what that goal is. I don't have to remind you what that goal is. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it and see what that goal is, and you'll be amazed you'll amaze yourself. Like, you'll be, what the fuck am I saying? You'll be amazed at how good that goal was. But yeah, to me, he also scored a second goal, which if you go back and look at that second goal, it was a pass from Jordi Alba, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain it was Jordi Alba. But if you go back and look at that goal, it's almost identical to Ronaldo's second goal in the 2017 UCL final against Juventus. You know that goal where Modric passes the ball to Ronaldo and he runs to the near post and toe pokes the ball in? Messi's second goal in that game was almost identical to Ronaldo's in that game. Jordi Alba passes the ball, Messi runs to the near post, anticipates the ball, gets there before the defenders, and then toe pokes the ball. Obviously, like I just said, the same thing that Ronaldo did. But like I said, this game, with that 1 goal would have been good enough to be an S tier for me. And yeah, it's going to be an S tier no matter what. And then finally, we have the 2019 semi-final against Liverpool. Obviously the first leg, not the second leg, of course, at the Camp Nou. It's bittersweet. I don't know where to put this game because obviously it's sweet because Messi was so fucking good, but it's bitter because I remember what happened in the next game, which obviously I reacted to it yesterday. This game to me is going to go into... I'm going to put it in B tier, bro. I just can't, with good faith, put it in A or S tier because I know what happened a week after this. Now, Messi in this game, he made prime Virgil van Dijk, who to me had the greatest one-year center back peak of all time. To me, 2018-19, Virgil van Dijk is the greatest center back that I've ever seen. I mean, the guy finished second in Ballon d'Or voting, for Christ's sake, and was this close to winning it. And Messi made him look human. Now, he didn't dominate Van Dijk on the day, but he made him look human. He dribbled past him a couple of times, which was almost impossible to do for Van Dijk at the time. He's obviously scored 2 goals. The first goal was just like it just fell right on his lap, but that second goal is, to me, one of the greatest free kicks in the history of football. That curl past Alisson, and he was everywhere on the pitch that day. Like, on the first half, he was just creating everything, dropping deep. I mean, it was 2019 Messi, bro, but I gotta put it in B tier because I know the memories that come after this game, and also because one of these guys has to go in B tier, and, you know, I have 3 tiers for a reason, so one of them had to go in there, so I'm gonna pick this game because fuck what happened the week after this. But anyway, yeah, those are the tiers. Well, guys, if you've watched up until this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for the support on this account so far. I said it yesterday, but I'm going to say it again today. I mean, 1,000 is fucking crazy, and we just keep growing and growing, so thank you guys so much for that. I love all of you, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.